Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we're diving into a series I haven't done in a very, very long time. God, I don't even remember when the last one was. I'll put it right here. The last one we did and the date. But basically what we're doing is I'm taking some classic child's cartoons villains and making them creepified. I feel looking back, like in the early 2000s and in the 90s, I mean, even the 80s, there was always some type of villain that was like, it was cartoony, but also could be a little bit terrifying. Like I'm thinking of like Courage the Cowardly Dog, some of them in like Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack. There was some that could be easily pretty creepy back in the day. I mean, Courage the Cowardly Dog is an easy one to be like, yeah, that was creepy. So what I do for this series is I take one of those characters and I make it more creepy to try to match like a FromSoft style. Like if this villain would be in a Darksouls game, what would it look like? And so today I'm diving into one of those classic 90s to 2000s cartoons with the Powerpuff Girls. This one was kind of an easy pick for me just because I feel this character could work so well in this universe. I mean, there's a lot of really fun villains in the Powerpuff Girls, but today I'm going to be taking him and designing him as a creepy villain for a Dark Souls game. So for this one in particular, I am going to be diving into the true form for him. They had the base form for this character, but then there's this bigger, buffer, creepier true form. So I'm going to be using that one a little bit more than just this base form. So let's jump in and get some sketching going and figure out how we're going to transform him into a creepy villain. All right, let's jump in and get these sketches going. So at first for this design, I was going back and forth on exactly what I wanted to do. First of all, like from what I understand from the Powerpuff Girls lore, and I am not a professional, I think him was supposed to be literally the devil in the original pitch of the show. But Cartoon Network was pretty against any type of like religious icons, I think, in their show. Because I think it was the same with like Cow and Chicken. The other like demon dude in that as well, I think was also supposed to be the devil, but he had a different name that I totally don't remember. But I was going back and forth on if I should make this one more devil-like or try to stay a little more true to the OG character. Because I'm like, I could add the tail and make it look more devil demonic looking. But I was like, no, I think I'm going to stick to the original look. And so for this initial sketching phase, I tried kind of figuring out the face at first as the whole, but then I wasn't really liking how it was looking. And so I'm like, I want to zoom in and get like the smile and the eyes right, because that was like the thing I really wanted to nail. And then from there, I did a very rough sketch of, I guess, his overall body proportions and what I wanted it to look like in like, I guess, just a stagnant form. And then from there, I went and did like a more dynamic pose, which I struggled with a bit because drawing those weird pointy heels in a way that looks kind of natural for how they sit or I guess exist is weird. So I gave up on the legs for a little bit and I focused on more of the hands to be like the focal point, like having these big like crabby claws. I wanted to make sure those were present and forward in the design, since I think that would probably be his primary use of attack in a video game. And then from there, I just beefed out some of the design elements, like the fur on the collar and like the loincloth fur. I wanted it to look a little more like weird and puffy and gross, and I guess more broken hair instead of like floofy fluffy, if that makes sense. And I really liked the design overall. And I was kind of brainstorming during stream, like what moves this character would do if it was in a video game. I love discussing this like in these episodes. So I think one thing that would be really creepy is I think him would have kind of like a weird ballet model walk to him within the game, obviously because he's on like these pointed toe, almost ballet like shoe heels. But I think it'd be really interesting if like before you interact with him as a villain, he's very like graceful, kind of flowy, kind of doing like heel toe, or not heel toe, but like swishy leg walkies is the best way I can describe it. And I could see like an arm being crossed over the elbow of the other one and then the other claw just kind of resting above. So it looks much more like elegant. And then I could imagine like once you engage him and like the battle commences, I think it'd be really creepy is if it like, if he did lots of small fast steps with like the little pointed toes to get to you and would be like really fast and like do like really quick ballet steps towards you. And then I could see, at least attack wise, doing like kind of spinning kicks with like these longer metal covered legs, obviously clamping with like the little crab claws, like grabbing you, throwing you around, clamping, slashing, maybe backhanding with the big crab claws. And then I would want to do something with the creepy, gross teeth. I mean, we shouldn't waste really cool chompers. So maybe like the finishing move, like if you lose, is like he might grab you with the chompers or the crab claws and like rip you in half with the mouth or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that'd be pretty gnarly and cool for like a Dark Souls game. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I think those are like my main ideas for at least using the parts that he has. So let me know in the comments if you guys have other cool ideas that could work for our him design. But anyway, back to the rendering part. I'm getting into like the heavier shadows and highlights at this point. I basically did a whole shadow layer on him, and then I went through and erased out the different chunks because I'm like, this character is going to be mostly in shadow. I don't want to go through and paint each bit of shadow. So I'm like, I'll just do the opposite and erase it out. And I really wanted it to be like a very intense lighting situation. So I had those darks, and then I go back and do even darker darks to add like a deeper shadow depth. And I think it worked pretty well overall. It's interesting doing like a very limited color palette character, because I'm like, we got red, we got pink, and we got this like blackish gray, and then like the yellow eyes. And I wasn't able to push certain things as much as I was thinking at first. I still feel this worked out well, but I don't know. It was an interesting color challenge. Like, I feel if I went too dark, I would be coloring like black on top of it, and that makes the character look flat. I don't know. This one was a little bit not harder, but it just looked different than I imagined for like the Dark Souls shading and look. But it is like a more colorful character, and I didn't really want to saturate it back too much and lose like the main character colors, you know? And there we have it. We are finished with him from the Powerpuff Girls. I had a lot of fun doing this one. I did kind of like a little bit of a simple background in the background to kind of match the city of Townsville back from the Powerpuff Girls show. I know this isn't really like a Dark Souls setting, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to put like the little buildings to do a little nod to the OG city from the show. Him was just a really cool character to creepify. I had a lot of fun trying to exaggerate some of those features and then also transform them into something that would work for like a FromSoft villain. But yeah, this one was super fun. And if you have any other villains or like classic shows that you want me to look into for more of these in the future, let me know down in the comments below. Before we wrap up, I want to give a shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for supporting me on my little art business journey. If you guys would like to get early access to high resolution art and behind the scenes content of stuff I'm working on, you can go check out my Patreon. I also have a mail club where you can get a sticker, a print, and a sticker sheet sent to you every month in the mail of like different art that I'm making or creature designs. So if you'd like to jump in on that, that's also a tier over on my Patreon. I really appreciate your guys' support, both by watching here and supporting me on Patreon. The ad revenue and the Patreon is what's helping fund conventions and things for me this year. So I really appreciate any support you can offer. That can be even like commenting, sharing, liking, maybe sharing my channel with someone you think that would like it. It all helps so much, and I really appreciate you guys watching my stuff. But either way, thank you guys again so much for stopping by. I had a lot of fun making this creepy, cool Dark Souls villain, and I would love to do more of these. So again, let me know in the comments if there's a childhood villain you want me to explore in the future. Games, shows, anything is up for grabs. But again, thank you guys, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.